is now January, and Wolves can obviously sell players if they want to. We've got 5 players I think we should definitely sell this window, at least consider selling in order to make some money. Wolves have to wheel and deal once again this window to generate funds in order to buy new players, and these are 5 players I think we should be looking at in terms of offloading. Let's jump right into it. If you guys are of course new around here, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We are closing in on 100 subscribers. Thank you guys very much. Up first is Strand at Larsen, the Norwegian striker. Our Norwegian striker, valued at 40 million euros. He's now 25 years of age, and so far this season he's not had a very good time. If you look at his stats for the season, 18 appearances and just 1 goal, 0 assists in the Premier League. Not good enough for a Premier League striker, not good enough for a striker worth 40 million euros. You can see there the goal participation just 8% and 70% of his time in the starting 11. Now, Larsen has had an injury this season. I think he's still hampering with 1 or 2 as well, little knocks. But so far, the last few games has shown me that he's not interested in playing for Wolves long term. And if Wolves are going to get big money from him, it has to be this window. You can see there on the left-hand side, he's played nearly 300 games across his entire career, just 25 years of age. 83 goals and 33 assists. Not a bad return for a player looking to mature and get into their striker sort of, I guess, prime years, like 25, 26, 7 plus years. But for me, the key ones last season, of course, 14 goals and 4 assists for Wolves in 35 games in the top flight. Again, a really good return, especially for a really poor team who finished 16th last season. This season, though, it's not been his year. 18 starts, 1 goal, no assists. Now, I think the move to Newcastle, that broke down towards the end of the window, is a big part in that. I don't think his head's fully here. I think if Wolves are going to get big money, it has to be this window. For me, I like João Larsen. I think he's a very good striker. I think he's got a lot of good things about him. But this season for Wolves, he's not been the player that I thought he was going to be. And as of signing him for £30 million. Now, you look at the stats here. Again, you can see there, right? He's got a lot of reds in a lot of areas where you don't really want the red. You want them all yellow or at least green in most of them. Now, the clearances and aerial duels are pretty interesting, given that fans think that he can't jump, he can't win headers, and he's not good enough. But those clearances and aerial duels say otherwise. But for me, the shots, again, 6% percentile. It's just not good enough. And shot creating actions, 4%, again, just not good enough for an elite level striker. And for me, a lot of these things can be, of course, changed in a better team and a more positive setup. Maybe the fact that Wolves don't create many chances obviously hinders his ability to score goals. For me, he doesn't put himself out there enough to justify some of the fees, some of the passes, and even some of the stats. Right, Agbadou, you could see him again the weekend against West Ham, causing chaos in that West Ham defence. The run he made for the first goal for Hwang's assist for Arias went unnoticed by a lot of fans, but it's really, really clever movement. I don't think Larsen does that, and I don't think Larsen has the ability to make himself known and a presence like Agbadou can. Now, he was in for Norway this year, that Larsen can score goals, and he can do it really, really well. He sat down Mancini for his goal against Italy for Norway in their friendly, I think it was with the Euros, something like that. But again, for Wolves, it's just not happening for João Larsen. So I think it's best for both parties if Larsen moves on and Wolves can get some decent money, £35 million, and they can reinvest the money into another striker. Make sense? Up next is Sam Johnstone, our backup goalkeeper, our number 1. I don't know what he is nowadays. He's, of course, a goalkeeper. He's from, of course, England. He's worth £5 million, according to Transfer Markt. Around £3.5 million, which makes sense, really. For me, Johnstone is a very experienced goalkeeper. You can see there, 422 games across his entire career. 130 clean sheets. Not bad, given his play for some of the teams like there, West Brom, Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, Doncaster, Wolves, and of course Scunthorpe too. I think if Wolves are going to go down and get relegated, a goalkeeper, a new goalkeeper, a fresh start is what we need to do. You can see there, 12 appearances, 24 goals conceded this season. Now, Wolves have been very bad at the back, and Johnson's made 1 or 2 mistakes that have led to direct goals. The corner at Arsenal, of course, it was a freak own goal, but Nottingham Forest came out for the free kick, didn't get it, and of course, Igor Jesus scores, and Wolves lose the game 1-0. So for me, Sam Johnstone, I like Jose Sarr slightly more over Sam Johnstone. I think you could sell either one of them. I don't think it makes much of a difference, but for me, if I would sell one of them, I'd sell Sam Johnstone this window, keep Jose Sarr, and then reinvest in a younger goalkeeper that Wolves can then nurture and maybe getting our number 1 ahead of next season. But overall, Sam Johnstone is now 32 years of age. I don't think he wants to be second choice goalkeeper anymore, and if he wants to play first team regularly, I think a move away to another club in the maybe Premier League or the EFL is the right thing to do. If we move on to Sam Johnstone's scout report from the last year or so, you can see there that launches, goal kicks, and of course the average length of goal kicks are really, really high. So if you want a goalkeeper who can launch the ball for counter attacks, or of course launch into your big tall strikers, he's a really, really smart signing. Now, The not good side is, of course, the save percentage, which is just 61%. That's 3% across all goalkeepers in Europe. Given that he's obviously being compared against the top 5 leagues, Europa League, Champions League, and of course the Conference League too, but it's not a pretty good sign. So for me, I think Johnstone, we can move him on, bring someone younger in, and of course save on the wages. Up next is a pretty obvious one for me. It's Munetsi, the midfielder from Zimbabwe, worth around 12 million euros according to transfer marks. Now, he's worth, I think, 18 million pounds to Wolves as they bought him last year for that amount. God knows why, but if you look at his stats, again, another experienced midfielder, right? He's played a lot of games across his career in a lot of leagues as well, obviously Arab leagues, Premier League, League One, and of course across Europe too. You can see there, Premier League games this season, 13 appearances, 1 goal, 1 assist. Now, he has played in a number of games for Wolves this season. You can see there his goal participation is 29%. That's really, really high for a central defensive midfielder. You can look at his scouting report for the last 365 days. I put both against wingers and, of course, midfielders as well, as he has played both positions for Wolves. You can see there, on the right-hand side, he is linked away with a move to some League One sides. I think Paris FC is one of them. And for me, if Wolves can make a deal and get some money back, I think it's a worthwhile move. You can see there, his scouting report for midfielders. You can see he's very good at scoring goals and getting assists compared to most midfielders. And his clearances and aerial rules are really, really good as well. And again, against forwards, he's one of the best aerial forwards you can get in the league. But for me, the shocking part is, of course, his passes, right? Passes completion is 66%. It's not good enough. It's in the 1 percentile across Europe. Passes attempted, 18.99 in average against per 90. Again, 1%. It's just not good enough. And again, progressive passes, 1.28, which means all passes either go sideways or backwards. And that is not good enough. Not good enough for a midfielder in the Premier League. But for me, the more I look at it, again, if you're playing it in the Championship, right, you're playing a 3-man midfield, stick him at CDM alongside 2 ball-playing midfielders. You could have a really, really solid anchor in your team. The tackles, interceptions, blocks, clearances, and aerial rules are looking really, really good. But he can't pass the ball, and he can't dribble, and he can't shoot. So for me, I would get rid of him. I would get rid of him. Sell him for 10, 12 million pounds, and then bring in somebody else who can maybe have prior experience in the Championship or Premier League experience, homegrown, and just get Munetsi away from the club. I love him to bits, scoring key goals. Of course, Brentford last season, the volley was fantastic, but 12 months at Molineux, I think, is enough to show me that he can't play football. And for me, we need footballers. Again, maybe in the Championship as a CDM anchorman, he could do a job, but no. Get him gone. I'm trying to convince myself that he's half decent player. He's not. He's not a very good player. I can see it with my own eyes. You guys can see it too. Get him gone. Up next is either, big word there, either João Gomes or André. Not both. Either or. Now for me, both of them are of course midfielders. They're both Brazilian and both worth a pretty penny. And if Wolves are going to cash in on either one of them this season, it has to be this year. Once we go down, their valuations drop by a fair bit. And if Wolves want to cash in, make some money and reinvest in the squad, it has to be either João Gomes or André. Now, there's of course a World Cup year as well. They're both going to want to go to the World Cup and both deserve to go to the World Cup. Both are fantastic players. But you can see that the last 2 games that Wolves have played against West Ham and Man United, it was only João Gomes who started. André was on the bench for West Ham, obviously substituted for the Man United game, and Arias played alongside João Gomes, and I thought we looked much better as a team. João Gomes can cover the players of 2 or 3 players. He's absolutely fantastic, and Arias can of course bring the ball forward and get Wolves into more attacking positions, whilst André can't do that. I think they're both far too similar as footballers to both playing the 2-man midfield. I think if Wolves are going to get the best out of either of them, I think it has to be João Gomes or André alongside a creative ball-playing midfielder. Now, are they bad players? No, of course not. They're both really, really talented players, and both are going to go right to the very top of English football, or of course European football as well. But for me, I think Wolves have to cash in at this window in either one of them and reinvest the money. Again, if you can get £40 million for either one of these guys, you can then buy 2 or 3, maybe even 4 new players ahead of next season's rebuild. You can look at the scouting report. João Gomes is more of a well-rounded player than André. I think he's a better player overall. I can't lie to you. I think his ability to, again, get the ball forward and also get the ball back. And we can see those tackles, 96% across Europe is fantastic. André, of course, has 91% as well. Interceptions and blocks are also very similar. I think André's pass completion is slightly higher than João Gomes's. But that being said, it's of course because he doesn't pass the ball forward as often as João Gomes. So again, pros and cons to both players. I think both are very similar in the way they play, but for me, João Gomes is the better player in my personal opinion. He's more well-rounded, but André is, of course, very good as a midfielder, defensive midfielder as well. So, if both want to go to the World Cup, if Wolves want to cash in, this has to be the window to sell both of them. Of course, maybe an unpopular opinion, I'm not entirely certain, but for me, sell one, keep one, and of course, reinvest the money into better players for the squad. And last but certainly not least is Emmanuel Agbadou. Again, another unpopular opinion I think is going to be in the comments. But hear me out, right? Agbadou is now 28 years of age. He's of course Ivorian and he's worth around 18 million euros. Now, there has been offers from Besiktas and other clubs around Europe for him this window. Whether or not Wolves are going to take them, I don't know. But if you ever look at his career stats, he's again another talented, very good defender. 198 appearances across all competitions, 11 goals, 8 assists. Not bad for a defender too. This season, he's played 13 games, just half of the minutes, and of course starting 11 appearances for Wolves this season. And for me, if Wolves are going to sell a defender, Agbadou's probably going to be the one that has the most value that we can obviously live without as well. He's of course AFCON right now. And if Wolves are going to get big money for him, it's going to be this window. He's 28 years of age, turns 29 in June. And Wolves in the Championship, again, his valuation drops a little bit lower as well. I think he's too good for the Championship, I can't lie to you. I think he's far better than that. And I don't think he's going to want to play in the Championship either. That being said, I don't know him personally. Maybe he will, I don't know. But again, to keep in the Ivorian starting 11 or the Ivorian squad, he has to be playing in top football. And of course, the Championship is not a top league. So for me, Agbadou, 28 years of age, Ivorian, worth 10, 15, 20 million pounds. I think you can cash in him now, and again, you can bring in another player from the Championship, or maybe a homegrown player to replace him ahead of next season. And that's all it's about for me this window. It's about getting new players in who can bed in for next season, and of course, then hopefully help us get back up at the first attempt. Overall, Wolves have got a lot of players I think they could sell. Honestly, I would sell everybody. I can't lie to you. Maybe Matheus Mane, I'd keep him. But everyone else, I will take and consider all offers for them. Wolves are bottom of the league for a reason. Most of these players aren't good enough. And if Wolves are going to cash in and rebuild, it has to be this window. What do you guys think in the chat? Let me know down below. And of course, if you guys are new around here, make sure to subscribe for more Wolves content. Thank you very much.